Mother.
My sister.
Emmeline.
My mum.
Girlfriend.
Gracie Field.
Toya Wilcox. Jackie Forster.
My best mate.
Miriam Makeba.
My granny.
Florence Nightingale.
Jane Tomlinson.
Daughter.
My inspirational person is definitely my mother. She died when I was 17, but she's still with me, and in the way everything that I do is touched or affected by the way that she brought us up. She was a West Indian woman, came over to the UK as a nurse in the 50s, had me in the 60s, and was one of the very few black West Indian women who believed that children were little people and had their own rights, their own likes, their own dislikes. And from an early age, I wouldn't say I was spoilt, but with 8 children, she would cook different meals so that everybody had something that they liked. And for a woman of that time to use a cookery book and cook quiche Lorraine and all sorts of different wonderful dishes, which means that I just love food now. I am the same with my children. I believe that all children have a right to enjoy life and enjoy food and to be treated as an individual. And that's why I love her.
My role model is my mum because she's really kind and nice. And another role model of mine is my auntie because she's really safe.
Florence Nightingale, because she was helpful to everybody.
My best mate because she always supports me in trouble and she's really nice and kind.
Miriam Makeba went on exile for 30 years in America to free the South Africans from apartheid. She looked beyond apartheid, which was good. That's why she was my inspirational woman.
I think a lot of the things that my mum has taught me, in a way, she doesn't realise she's taught me. I watched her wallpaper, I watched her paint, I watched her garden. And a lot of those things I do myself now, self-taught from my mum.
I think Emmeline Pankhurst. She's a great woman, stand up for a woman in Britain.
My role model is my mum. She's taught us to not take anything for granted and to go out and work hard and you'll reap rewards. She's always looked after us, and like I say, we never had much, but we had plenty of love. I'm a lover now for that.
I think women are particularly good at friendship, and I'd like to talk about a friend of mine. Whenever I've needed her, she's been there for me. She's always been independent. She had a mastectomy recently. She wanted to go home with as least fuss as possible. She's just a very, very independent woman, as only women can be.
And my role model is my daughter and my friend, and I love her. And she loves me. And she does everything possible she can for me. She carries me about, very good heart.
My mother, she was a worker. She done what she could for us. She had to work because she had 6 children to look after, only one working.
My mother, she's passed away now. She had 12 of us children. Even though she had 3 brain hemorrhage and a stroke, she always says to me, tomorrow's another day. In other words, don't be dwelling on the past. Just keep going, and she always smiling, always there for helping everybody.
Nanny used. Her name was Margaret, but nobody ever called her Margaret. They called her Daisy. That was a nickname, and she was brought up in Dublin. She was brought up on a farm, and her job on the weekend was to get the chicken, kill it, take the feathers off, and she loved doing that, and she always spoke about it. And we used to say, how could you do that? And she said, you have to kill it live. If you want to eat it, you have to kill your own food. And that's the way she was brought up, and her father grew all his own vegetables, and he had a lot of home baking, like apple pies and soda breads. The best thing that she did was cook, and that's how she showed us love. And then my mum died when I was 9 and there were 7 of us. My granny used to come up every day and cook her food. She always wore a pinafore, like what Hilda had in Coronation Street. And he'd say, Nanny, why do you wear that? She said, oh, it keeps your dress clean, because she always wore a really nice dress. And she always had the smart shoes and the tights and a nice coat, and she always had her hair done. She never had a grey hair. I said, how come you've got no grey hair? I'll never have grey hair. I've cried lots of tears, but I'll never have grey hair. And she put the lipstick on, the red lipstick, a bit of mascara. I said, what are you doing that for? Well, you never know, you've got to look your best all the time. But she was a tiny woman, she was only about 4'10". And I used to look down on her, and I'm only 5'3", but she seemed so small. But she had the biggest bosoms you've ever seen in your life, and everybody put their head on them. I think everybody cried on them, everybody. Didn't matter what age you were, she'd grab you and just pull you into these, and it was like the softest, the best place in the world to be. And she was really, really funny. Everybody loved her in the area. I mean, she was only young when my granddad died. She was a young widower with lots of kids. But, I mean, she must have been worried how would she cope, but she never looked like she was worried. She always seemed happy, and she was always cooking. She brought up grandkids, and she brought up great-grandkids. And you say, why do you bring up all these kids? She said, oh, you need a baby in the house. It keeps everybody alive. And you know what? She was right, and I love her, and I'll always love her.